So Keanu Reeves is heading back to the big screen as the legendary hitman Baba Yaga, as some say. And he's taking on an opponent who's unlike anyone he has ever faced. Take a look.
So, you want to kill him? You want to kill him? I want to kill him. What about you, Mr. Wick?
I'm going to kill you.
Oh, for better, of course, yeah. But it looks like we have ourselves a genuine conundrum. A quandary, if you will. A real-life dilemma. So, I thought we play a game. One hand. The winner decides who lives and who does not.
I'm incredulous. The notorious German assassin is the only thing standing in the way of John Wick and his freedom, which has left fans wondering, has Baba Yaga finally met his match?
So joining us this morning to tell us more is actor Scott Adkins, who plays the man you just saw on the screen.
There he is.
Spoiler alert, he's much better looking in real life.
Thank you.
Been on the Adkins diet. No longer a master killer.
Late, Scott Adkins, thank you for joining us this morning.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
So you look so incredibly different.
It is fantastic.
Yeah.
What did you channel into to play this role?
It was a bit of a leap of faith, to be honest, because the director told me, you know, look, I've got a part for you, but there's a whole catch to it. You're going to be in this. We're going to create this character with the fat suit and the prosthetics and everything. So when I started working on the voice and who the character might be, it was a few weeks till I stepped into the suit and got the prosthetics on it and knew what the character was actually going to look like. So I wasn't sure for a while if I was going to pull it off.
Really?
Yeah, but it all worked out in the end.
I'd say. Because, I mean, we're just not into it. I've heard a lot of buzz around this film, and I'm hearing it's the best in the franchise thus far. So.
I'd say so. And I'm a big fan of all of them. I'm not just saying that because I'm in it.
I've seen every single one at least 5 times.
Well.
Up. It's a big movie in our home.
Yeah.
A rewatchable one. So this is unlike any role that you've ever played before. Obviously, Ip Man, Boyka, Undisputed Ninja, the list goes on. But like you said, you're in a fat suit. You have the prosthetics, which I knew this was. I was like, how did they get the chin?
No, this is a chisel.
The chin was the main thing. That was the
That
first thing to go on, you see, and it goes around the back of the head.
What is
and
this
it
process
was sort
like?
of stopped here, and they just like, you know, disappear it into your actual skin.
How long does that process take?
The makeup
Three and a half hours.
Oh my
about an hour to take it
Lord.
off.
You know, I have a tremendous amount of respect for actors, period, full stop. And then when you add a layer of you physically have to transform, how do you get into the mindset of your character while you're sitting there for 3 hours? I would be looking at the score.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Yeah, but it's a lot easier when you've got something like that, to be honest, because the more you can sort of disappear from yourself and hide behind that whole thing, I do find it easier. And it's but it was a lot of fun to create the character, and I enjoyed it, and I miss him. Now he's gone.
Yeah,
Can you slip back into him?
Yes, of course I can, Mr. Wick. Sometimes I'll be driving in my car and I just start doing the Killa voice, because I miss him. He's a great guy. He's an evil, horrible, dastardly
terrible, but he's a great guy.
But he's kind of jovial as well.
He's
like,
dastardly and jovial.
I saw those car moves too. That was some nice handwork right there.
Yeah,
Where did you
I
learn
worked
that?
a long time to be able to do that.
Really?
I was trying to do it just the other day, and I've completely forgotten.
Oh, no.
But yeah, the director wanted me to be able to do these card flourishes, so
I mean,
was able to do that in...
How many takes?
I did it every take.
Every take?
Every take I did it. I don't mess about. I told him I'd do it, and I did
this is a professional right here, Marisol. Okay?
Must have been the martial arts training that came in handy.
Well, that's what
I didn't even look at the card either. I was looking straight at ribs.
Okay. Well, too bad we don't have a deck of cards right here.
Shucks.
Sorry, I'm bragging.
Yes,
No.
As well, you
Please,
should.
this is why you're on the show.
He mentioned his martial arts.
Yes.
You're trained in martial arts.
I've done martial arts since I was 10 years old. That's kind of my thing. And they had to put me in the suit, you see, to slow me down.
Is that...
to give Keanu a chance.
Yes.
I'm sorry, is that...
Hold up. Whoa!
That was recently in the
You're
Maldives.
a bit bendy, aren't you?
The Maldives.
Yeah, you've got to stay... mobility is so important, especially as you get older.
Yeah.
That's one of the things you'll lose, so you've got to keep hold of that.
Move your body.
So you did this from the time you were 10, just because? Or did you...
my dad and my brother, they went to judo classes, and I went along because I was the younger brother, and they gave up, and I continued and went into taekwondo and kickboxing and various different martial arts. And I was a big fan of the action stars growing up, and I always said to myself, I want to do what they do.
Yeah.
And here we are, doing it in one of the best action films at the moment.
That's right. Yes. Who knew when you were 10 years old that that would shape your career and your future, that it would come in handy?
Really?
Yeah, I was very lucky that I had a very clear vision of what I wanted to do when I was a kid, which I don't think many people do.
Yeah. No, especially from that young of an age. I mean, the coordination...
There's a lot that goes into this.
To execute these moves. Ooh.
That's my garage at home, turned it into a gym.
Is that right?
Look at that.
Yeah.
What'd you do to that poor fella?
Yeah, who are we imagining
He was looking at me funny, and I was like, oi, what's your problem?
Exactly.
So, no, there was also a very special reunion for you recently on this movie, because you and the producer, director, and actor Donnie Yen, right?
Yeah.
You both starred in Ip Man 4 together. There you are.
Yeah. Donnie's not the director, but yeah, he stars in John Wick 4.
Oh,
and he's
so
one of the greatest martial arts legends of all time. He's the best of the best. And it's an absolute pleasure to work with him for the second time.
What's that like on set with him? Is he critiquing you, coaching you, encouraging you?
He gives me advice, and I'm happy to take it. I mean, he is the best of the best. And we had the relationship from Ip Man 4, where we have a big fight sequence. You know, very difficult. Doing films in Hong Kong, China, it's a different level.
Different.
They don't mess about. But actually, it's a different level on John Wick film as well.
I can
generally,
only imagine.
it's much tougher on a Hong Kong movie.
Interesting. Speaking of action, The Art of Action, your podcast.
Yeah.
What are you talking about there?
I've been too busy to do it recently.
You got a lot going on
movies
right
again.
But you have
I started
plenty.
in the pandemic because
Okay.
there's nothing else to do, right?
Sure.
And I started interviewing all these fellow action stars and action directors. So I interviewed Chad Stahelski, the John Wick director. Maybe that made him think, oh, I should put him in the film.
Look at you.
Yeah, I was thinking outside the box.
That's right.
But no, it was quite popular, and I'm going to bring it back and do some more, but it takes a bit of time.
Oh, you know what? People think podcasts, just talking to your phone and
No.
It's
well, I was
very
editing
involved.
it myself. That's my fault. I need to get someone to do it for me.
you
Scott,
should.
you're a famous
But I'm a
celebrity.
control freak.
You're a famous
You can
celebrity.
sit in the booth with them while they're...
Yeah.
But, you know,
But it still takes
delegate.
time.
Get someone to do
you're
it.
right.
You don't need to be
By
pressing
the way,
buttons, please.
did you know
I
that
didn't.
part of the... I know, because part of the John Wick, I believe it was the first one, maybe it was this, oh my God, my boyfriend's going to kill me. There's a scene where they go down into the bathhouses. I believe it's
That's the first one, I think.
Alfie Allen.
Yeah.
It's the first one. That's filmed right here.
I'm going to say in a second.
Ida, no, not in the Pix 11 Studios, but down in Soho, I believe.
Yeah.
At Ida Ancient Baths.
Is that right?
They do a whole. It's very cool.
So
Take
New
a
York
trip down
figures.
there.
It figures.
New York always has a hand in something.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
Right.
New York Continental.
That's right.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing the space with us today. We appreciate
Thanks for
it.
having me.
Can't wait to see
And
the film.
we
Go
love
watch the
bragging
movie, it's
about
amazing.
you. We
Yes.
love bragging about you, and we can't wait to see what else you're going to do.
Keep bragging about me, and I'll keep coming back.
Please
All
do.
right. Open invite.
The sofa's new, so
look
you
at
come
this.
back.
Yeah, very
We
comfortable.
haven't tarnished it yet. John Wick Chapter 4 hits theaters today. We'll be right back.